UK Parliament calls Taiwan an independent country. UK Foreign Secretary will steadfastly and vocally stand by Taiwan. Putin planned a big trip abroad after his arrest warrant. Putin powerless to complain about China claiming Russian territory. Malaysia protests China's land claim in a newly published map. Meta disrupted a campaign linked to Chinese law enforcement. Massive Greek wildfire is the biggest ever recorded in the EU. Japan may take China to the WTO over Fukushima-driven seafood import ban.
Hello, I'm Johnny. Thank you for joining us on Funday News. It's Thursday, August 31st, and here are your top stories. The British Parliament has for the first time referred to Taiwan as an independent country in an official document, breaking a political taboo as Foreign Secretary James Cleverly visits China this week. The new language, adopted in a report published Wednesday by the influential Foreign Affairs Committee of the House of Commons, risks a stinging backlash from Beijing and comes as Cleverly becomes the first top British envoy to visit Beijing in 5 years amid a frosty relationship.
The committee report says, Taiwan is already an independent country, under the name Republic of China. The report adds, Taiwan possesses all the qualifications for statehood, including a permanent population, a defined territory, government, and the capacity to enter into relations with other states. It is only lacking greater international recognition. Committee chairperson Alicia Kearns told Politico, "We acknowledge China's position, but we as the Foreign Affairs Committee do not accept it."
The UK Foreign Secretary James Cleverly will challenge Chinese officials in Beijing on Wednesday over their growing military support for Russia. In the meantime, the UK's Foreign Affairs Committee of the House of Commons said in a newly published report, it is imperative the Foreign Secretary steadfastly and vocally stand by Taiwan and make clear we will uphold Taiwan's right to self-determination. It is the first visit by a senior British government member to China in 5 years.
Cleverly will hold bilateral meetings with China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi and the Vice President Han Zheng. Just 1 day ahead of his trip to China, the British Parliament referred to Taiwan as an independent country in an official document for the first time. According to committee chairperson Alicia Kearns, Cleverly will steadfastly and vocally stand by Taiwan, and this commitment aligns not only with British values but also serves as a poignant message to autocratic regimes worldwide that sovereignty cannot be attained through violence or coercion.
Russian President Vladimir Putin is reportedly prepared to venture out for his first foreign trip since the International Criminal Court issued his arrest warrant for alleged war crimes. According to a Bloomberg report, Putin will be making his visit in China for the Belt and Road Forum in October. However, Putin has been shirking from other international travel. The Russian president informed India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi this week that he will not be traveling to India next month for the G20 summit.
Russian President Vladimir Putin has reportedly agreed to visit China for the Belt and Road Forum in October.
The ICC issued Putin's arrest warrant in March over his alleged involvement in abducting and illegally deporting children from Ukraine, reportedly causing panic inside the Kremlin about the stability of Putin's rule and whether the warrant was tantamount to calling for regime change. The visit to China will come months after President Xi Jinping visited Russia in March, where he praised Putin for his strong leadership. This all is occurring amid Russia preparing to take chairmanship of the BRICS group in January 2024.
Chinese media outlets this week shared a new geographic map from China's state-owned standard map service that shows Russian territory as part of China. The map is said to have been approved by Beijing and was released by China's Ministry of Natural Resources. George Mason University's Shaw School of Policy and Government professor Mark Cate told Newsweek the Kremlin very definitely pays close attention to Chinese maps, especially official ones, claiming that Russian territory actually belongs to China.
However, Katz added that if Putin is upset, he is not in a position to loudly complain about this since Moscow has become so dependent on economic relations with China as a result of Western sanctions. The 2023 geographic map indicates that Bolshoi Ussuriysky Island on the Amur River is part of China. According to the Russian business news outlet RBC, Russia and China disputed claims over the island beginning in the 1860s until the two nations agreed to divide the territory in a 2008 treaty.
On Wednesday, Malaysia joined India in protesting a new Chinese map that lays claim to India's territory in Malaysia's maritime areas near Borneo Island ahead of next week's Group of 20 summit in New Delhi, which Chinese President Xi Jinping is expected to attend. In a statement released on Wednesday, Malaysia's foreign ministry rejected China's unilateral claims and added the map is not binding to the country. It also called for the conflict to be handled in a peaceful and rational manner through dialogue and negotiations.
Malaysia Ministry of Foreign Affairs stated that Malaysia does not recognize China's claims in the South China Sea, as outlined in the China Standard Map Edition 2023, which also encompasses Malaysia's maritime areas. It said in a statement Wednesday that the map holds no binding authority over Malaysia. The ministry said this issue needs to be managed peacefully and rationally through dialogue and negotiations based on provisions of international law, including the 1982 United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea.
On Tuesday, Facebook and Instagram parent company Meta said it had disrupted disinformation campaign linked to Chinese law enforcement that the social media company described as the largest known cross-platform covert influence operation in the world. Meta said the influence network generated positive posts about China with a particular focus on positive commentary about China's Xinjiang province, where the government's treatment of the Uyghur minority group has prompted international sanctions.
The company took down more than 7,700 accounts and 930 pages on Facebook. Meta said the network was or is present on nearly every popular social media platform, including Medium, Reddit, Tumblr, YouTube, and X, formerly known as Twitter. Meta said in its quarterly threat report, although the people behind this activity tried to conceal their identities and coordination, our investigation found links to individuals associated with Chinese law enforcement.
A massive wildfire was burning unabated in northeastern Greece for the 11th day Tuesday, despite the efforts of hundreds of firefighters and a fleet of water-dropping aircraft. The wildfire is the biggest in the EU since the European Forest Fire Information System started keeping records in 2000. Authorities are investigating the causes of the fires, which over the past week have destroyed large tracts of forest, scorched homes, and triggered the evacuation of thousands of people.
Arson has been suspected in some of the blazes, with several people arrested. France and Spain were sending additional aircraft to join those already sent from Germany, Sweden, Croatia, Cyprus and the Czech Republic under the EU's emergency response mechanism. More than 350 firefighters have also been sent to Greece from Romania, Bulgaria, Albania, Slovakia and Serbia. The top EU official for crisis management, Janis Lenarchik, said Tuesday it was the bloc's largest aerial firefighting operation.
Japan threatened on Tuesday to take China to the World Trade Organization to seek a reversal of Beijing's ban on all of its seafood imports after the release of treated radioactive water from the stricken Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. Foreign Minister Yoshimasa Hayashi told reporters that Japan would take necessary action under various routes, including the WTO framework. Filing a WTO complaint might become an option if protesting to China through diplomatic routes is ineffective.
Japan's Trade Minister Yasutashi Nishimura said the government was gathering information on the reports of movements to boycott Japanese products in China and would work with business leaders to address the situation. Japan is also conducting interviews with local travel agencies to gather information about the status of travel to Japan from China after media reports that some Japan-bound tours have been cancelled. The move came after China earlier this month lifted pandemic-era restrictions on group tours for Japan and other key markets.
Now let's delve into the news of Japan taking China to the WTO over Fukushima-driven seafood import ban. Number 1. Reversal. 颠倒,反转导致. The government suffered a total reversal of fortune last week. Number 2. Bound. 构成复合词,正旅行去某地,准备前往某地. Be homeward bound. 归家的,回家途中的. I'll be homeward bound even before Grant arrived. Number 3. Stricken. 受煎熬的,患病的,遭受挫折的. He was stricken by a heart attack on his 50th birthday. Next, we have a multiple choice question for everyone to practice. Which answer would you choose? You can write your answer in the comment section. The correct answer will be announced tomorrow. And that's all for today's Funday News. Be sure to tune in to Funday News from Monday to Friday and click the link below to join Funday for free. I'm Johnny Wu, your host. I'll see you next time.